Now that we have our points stored in the database, let's understand a little bit about the automating of the line work. The automating of the line work creates what are referred to as survey figures in Civil 3D. Let's go to our database that we've created. Notice I'm in the 0306 Managing Figures drawing. The database is currently closed, but I can right-click on it at any time and choose to open for edit. And it will present all the information available, all the different files that we've imported, our networks, the figures or line works created, and of course our survey points. So we're going to right-click on our import events and choose to process line work. Now notice it mentions here the figure prefix database and the line work code set. We're going to insert the figure objects. We're going to insert the survey points. And let's go see what kind of line work we have drawn. Once we do, of course, the line work's drawn for us automatically, but we don't really have any curves going on, and all the lines look the same, all cyan in color. So let's first work with our curvature. That's connected to our line work code set. So we're going to right-click and choose to create a new line work code set, and we're going to name this Linda. And notice what's controlled in the line work code set. When is this code to be seen? In other words, we're going to talk about curb, and so it may be BC and then a space, that's our delimiter here, and then provide special codes such as begin the line, end the line, close a line, even more controls where we can have the horizontal and vertical offsets to have it draw another line, begin curve, and so on. We've created this, but we really don't know what kind of codes we're dealing with. So let me go ahead and click OK. And we're going to zoom in and notice some of the codes that we have. So a point on a curve is PCC. So let's go ahead and set that. Point on a curve, PCC. We're also going to see that when a curve began and ended, it will be PC, or it's the point on a curve. And then PT is a point of tangency. So we're going to set those as well. Beginning of curve there, point of tangency, and so on. So when we click OK here, let's see if our lines are drawn a little bit better with more curvature. Again, we're not importing anything. Everything's already imported in the database. We're simply going to process the line work. So I right-click on Import Events, Process Line Work. We're going to choose a different line work code set this time and click OK. And it redraws the lines, and you see now that the lines have proper curvature, and they're able to work with that and draw those lines appropriately. So point on curve really is able to take the information, bring a proper curve, and set the curve in the tangent format to set it so that this point sits on the curve, and then it connects the two tangents. So you need enough points to have a line in and a line out for point on curve. Otherwise, you're going to have some settings such as here, point of curvature, and then our point of tangency. And so we'll have those different settings as well. That would begin and end the curve. And anything in between would simply be curved data. And it would try to make it fit as best as it can. As you see here, the point of curvature began way back here. All the lines were part of a curve until the point of tangency here. And notice this one's not exactly tangent then coming in. So a lot of different controls to making those curvatures look correct. What about the layers for the lines that are drawn? And that is really controlled more by the figure prefix database. So let's go ahead and right click, and we're going to choose a new figure prefix database. We're going to call this Linda. I'm going to right click on it and choose to manage the figure prefix database. Works very similar to our point description keys. We provide the actual raw description here. In this case is curb. Is a curb something that's a break line, a change in grade? Usually. What layer to put it on? And so we're going to set that to the correct layer here. So we'll do pavement concrete. And even the style for the figure. In this case, just basic style. We're going to talk about sites a little bit later. We click OK. We can even add another one here. We have islands. We also have buildings. So let's add our building here. Building is oftentimes a break line as well. We'll get it in the right layer. In this case, we'll just call it node building, basic, click OK. And so now when we create these and process the line work, not only is it going to draw the curvature correctly, it's going to know when to begin the line and end the line, but it will now place the line in the correct layers. So I'm going to right click here, choose to process line work, change my figure prefix database, and click OK. And so now you see that this line work falls within a new layer. Lastly, we can make some adjustments to these survey points. Even though they've been imported, even though they reside in a database, if I select the point, actually this one's the wrong one, right? So let's change this. When I select the point, it knows that it's coming from the database. So we can change the point properties, but just make sure you're changing the survey point properties. What you're doing then is you're changing the database controls. So we'll set that one to having a different description to line it up. We'll change that one to the correct description. They just shot the descriptions wrong when they did it, and press enter to end the edits, and it knows now that you probably want to update your line work. I go ahead and say yes. It asks you for the settings again. We'll say okay, and now it redrew those. Not only did, of course, we change the description within our points in the drawing, but they're changed within the database as well. So working with survey data within Civil 3D means we have to understand a lot about the different databases, not only to process the line work, but to properly store it and adjust it. So we have our survey database, that's our project database. We have the figure prefix database that works with how the lines look and what style they're on. And then the line work code set, which really defines whether we're drawing a circle, an arc, whether to begin the line or end the line, what kind of codes are being used for that. So understanding those databases will make a key factor in being able to successfully create existing conditions in Civil 3D.